The Pacific Ocean churned beneath the hovering Vextari scout ship, its crystalline hull refracting the morning sunlight into dazzling patterns across the waves. Commander Jolak stood on the bridge, his iridescent scales shimmering with anticipation. After conquering a dozen water worlds across 3 galaxies, Earth seemed like child's play. "Commence submersion," Jolak ordered, his multifaceted eyes fixed on the viewscreen. The ship descended, its nose piercing the ocean's surface with barely a ripple. Jolak allowed himself a satisfied click of his mandibles. Too easy. Then, an alarm blared. "Commander," the sensor officer's voice crackled with panic. Hull integrity compromising at an exponential rate. Jolak whirled to face the readouts, his antennae twitching in disbelief. The ship's outer layer was dissolving? "Impossible," he hissed. "Initiate emergency ascent." But it was too late. The ocean seemed to come alive, eating through their impenetrable crystal tech like acid through paper. The last thing Jolak saw before the viewscreen went dark was a school of curious fish, swimming through the newly formed holes in the hull. Thousands of miles away, in a cluttered laboratory at the Scripps Institution of Oceanography, Dr. Lyra Nakamura jolted awake. Her computer was pinging incessantly, displaying a cascade of anomalous readings from her deep-sea sensors. Lyra rubbed her eyes, brushing aside a lock of blue-streaked hair. She'd been pulling all-nighters for weeks, ever since the Vextari ships appeared in Earth's orbit. As a xenobiologist specializing in extreme marine environments, she'd been tasked with finding any possible weakness in the alien invaders. Now, it seemed the ocean itself had done her job for her. "Holy shit," she whispered, scanning the incoming data. The chemical composition of the water around the alien ship's crash site was unlike anything she'd ever seen. It was as if the ocean had reconfigured itself on a molecular level to attack the foreign object. A heavy knock on her lab door made her jump. "Dr. Nakamura?" a gruff voice called out. "Naval Intelligence. We need to talk." Lyra's heart raced. She quickly encrypted her findings and slipped a data chip into her pocket. Whatever was happening, she had a feeling the government wouldn't want this information spreading. She opened the door to find a tall, scarred man in a nondescript suit. His eyes were hidden behind dark sunglasses, but Lyra could feel the intensity of his gaze. "Jack Harper," he said, flashing a badge. "I'm here to escort you to a secure facility. The Joint Chiefs want a briefing on what just happened in the Pacific." Lyra swallowed hard. "And if I refuse?" Harper's lip twitched in what might have been a smirk. "Doc, a Vextari ship just got eaten by the ocean. Refusal isn't an option." As they hurried through the halls, Lyra's mind raced. The implications of what she'd discovered were staggering. Somehow, Earth's oceans had developed a defense mechanism against the alien threat. But how, and more importantly, could they replicate it? One thing was certain: the Vextari's easy conquest had just become a fight for survival. And Lyra Nakamura found herself at the center of humanity's last, best hope. Little did she know, as she climbed into the unmarked black SUV with Jack Harper, that their journey would take them to the very limits of human endurance, to the bottom of the world's deepest trenches, where an ancient intelligence was stirring, awakened by the cosmic threat above. The war for Earth had begun, and the true depths of the ocean's secrets were about to be revealed. The helicopter's rotors sliced through the salty air as it approached the US Nautilus, a state-of-the-art research vessel disguised as an ordinary freighter. Lyra clutched her laptop bag, knuckles white, as Jack Harper briefed her on the situation. 6 hours ago, a Vextari scout ship attempted to submerge off the coast of Hawaii, he shouted over the engine noise. It disintegrated within minutes. We need to know why, and fast. The chopper touched down on the Nautilus's helipad. As they disembarked, Lyra caught sight of frantic activity on the deck below. Scientists and military personnel rushed about, their faces etched with a mixture of fear and excitement. Admiral Koda, a stern-faced woman with salt and pepper hair, met them at the bridge. "Dr. Nakamura, welcome aboard. I hope you're ready to work miracles." Lyra nodded, trying to project confidence she didn't feel. I'll need access to all the data you've collected, plus samples from the crash site. Already done, Coda replied, leading them to a makeshift lab. But be warned, what we're dealing with defies explanation. The lab was a hive of activity, centrifuges whirring and spectrometers humming. At the center stood a large tank filled with roiling, dark water. Is that? Lyra trailed off, eyes wide. Water from the crash site, Jack confirmed. Watch. He picked up a small crystal, similar in composition to the Vextari ships, and dropped it into the tank. The effect was immediate and horrifying. The crystal seemed to scream, emitting a high-pitched whine as it rapidly dissolved, leaving nothing but a swirl of glittering particles. Lyra's scientific mind kicked into overdrive. It's not just chemical dissolution, she muttered, reaching for a microscope. There's something else at work here. Hours blurred together as Lyra delved deeper into the mystery. She barely noticed when Jack placed a cup of coffee by her elbow or when Admiral Coda came to check on their progress. Her world narrowed to the microscopic level, where an impossible battle was taking place. Unbelievable, she breathed, finally looking up. The lab had grown quiet, the other scientists having long since retired. Only Jack remained, watching her intently. What did you find? He asked, leaning in. Lyra's eyes sparkled with excitement and fear. It's alive, Jack. The water. It's full of microorganisms I've never seen before. They're not just dissolving the alien material, they're evolving, adapting in real time to consume it more efficiently. Jack's brow furrowed. Are you saying our oceans are intelligent? Not exactly, Lyra hedged. But there's a level of coordinated behavior here that shouldn't be possible. It's as if the entire ecosystem has recognized the Vextari as a threat and mobilized to defend itself. A loud boom shook the ship, cutting off Jack's reply. Alarms blared as Admiral Coda's voice came over the intercom. Battle stations, Vextari ships approaching. Lyra and Jack rushed to the bridge, arriving just in time to see a massive Vextari warship descending from the clouds. Unlike the scout ship, this one wasn't attempting to submerge. Instead, it hovered ominously above the waves, a giant crystal claw extending from its underside. They're extracting water samples, Coda growled. They're learning. As they watched, helpless, the claw plunged into the ocean, withdrawing with a globe of seawater suspended in an energy field. The implications were clear. The Vextari were adapting, seeking to neutralize Earth's unexpected defense. Lyra's mind raced. They needed more time, more data. But most of all, they needed to understand the true source of the ocean's newfound power. And for that, they'd have to go deeper than any human had gone before. She turned to Jack and Admiral Coda, her face set with determination. We need to dive to the bottom of the Mariana Trench. The fate of humanity now rested on a desperate plunge into the darkest depths of the Earth's oceans, where ancient secrets and unfathomable horrors awaited. The Nautilus cut through the waves at top speed, racing towards the Mariana Trench. On the bridge, Admiral Coda coordinated a global defense strategy, while Lyra and Jack pored over deep-sea topographical maps. The Challenger Deep is our best bet, Lyra explained, pointing to a dark spot on the map. It's the deepest known point in the Earth's oceans. If there's a source to this phenomenon, it's likely to be there. Jack frowned, his scarred face etched with concern. That's nearly 7 miles down. No submersible we have can withstand that pressure. A voice spoke up from behind them. Perhaps not one you know about. They turned to see a tall, lanky man with wild gray hair and thick-rimmed glasses. He grinned, extending a hand. Dr. Hiroshi Sato, at your service. I hear you need to take a little deep-sea stroll. Admiral Coda nodded in greeting. Dr. Sato is the lead engineer on Project Nautilus. If anyone can get you to the bottom of the trench, it's him. Sato's eyes gleamed with excitement. Follow me. I've got something to show you that'll knock your pressure suits off. They descended into the bowels of the ship, coming to a massive hangar bay. There, suspended in a cradle of scaffolding, was a sleek, black submersible, unlike anything Lyra had ever seen. "Meet the Leviathan," Sato announced proudly. Designed to withstand the crushing pressures of the Hattle Zone, she's got a hull of metamaterials that actually get stronger under pressure, and a propulsion system that'll make those Vextari ships look like tugboats. Lyra circled the vessel, her scientific mind already calculating possibilities. "Impressive, but how will we collect samples, or defend ourselves if necessary?" Sato's grin widened. "Ah, that's where things get really interesting. We've adapted some of the Vextari crystal tech we've recovered. The Leviathan can extend crystalline probes that are nearly indestructible, perfect for sample collection in extreme environments." Jack raised an eyebrow. "And weapons? Let's just say she's got a few surprises up her sleeve," Sato replied cryptically. "Now, who's ready for a crash course in deep-sea piloting?" The next few hours were a blur of training and preparation. Lyra absorbed every detail about the Leviathan systems, while Jack focused on emergency protocols and defense mechanisms. As they worked, reports kept flooding in from around the world. The Vextari were becoming bolder, testing Earth's oceans with probes and energy fields, searching for a way to neutralize the threat. Finally, as dawn broke over the Pacific, they were ready. Lyra and Jack stood before the Leviathan in sleek diving suits, the weight of humanity's fate heavy on their shoulders. Admiral Coda approached, her face grim. "We've just received word. The Vextari have begun large-scale extraction of ocean water. They're trying to create a safe zone for invasion. We're out of time." Lyra nodded, her resolve strengthening. "We'll find answers down there. We have to." As they prepared to board, Jack pulled Lyra aside. "Listen, Doc, I need to know. Are you sure about this? We're diving into the unknown here." Lyra met his gaze, seeing the concern behind his tough exterior. "Jack, my whole life I've studied the extremes of life on this planet. If there's one thing I've learned, it's that life finds a way, especially in the harshest environments. Whatever's down there, it's our best hope." A small smile tugged at Jack's lips. "Well, when you put it that way, let's go make first contact with the deep." They boarded the Leviathan, sealing themselves inside the high-tech cocoon. As the hangar bay doors opened beneath them, revealing the dark expanse of the Pacific, Lyra felt a thrill of excitement and terror. Dr. Sato's voice crackled over the comm. "Leviathan, you are clear for launch. Good luck down there, and remember, in the deep, pressure is power. Use it wisely." With a final thumbs up to the control room, Jack engaged the launch sequence. The Leviathan detached from its cradle, hovering for a moment before plunging into the waves. As they descended into the abyss, leaving the world of light and air behind, Lyra couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. Not just by the anxious eyes of humanity above, but by something ancient and vast stirring in the lightless depths below. The journey to the bottom of the world had begun, and with it, the true test of humanity's resolve in the face of cosmic threats. The Leviathan plunged deeper, its exterior lights piercing the encroaching darkness. Lyra's eyes darted between the depth gauge and the external cameras, marveling at the alien landscape unfolding before them. 5,000 meters, Jack announced, his voice tense. "Entering the Hattle Zone." As if on cue, something massive glided past their viewports. Lyra gasped, fumbling for the camera controls. "Was that?" Jack began. "A giant squid," Lyra confirmed, her voice filled with awe. "But it's different." The creature reappeared, circling the Leviathan curiously. Its flesh seemed to shimmer with bioluminescent patterns, pulsing in complex sequences. "It's communicating," Lyra realized. "Jack, slow our descent. I need to record this." As Jack complied, the squid approached closer. Its enormous eye, easily the size of a dinner plate, peered into the submersible. Lyra felt a chill run down her spine. There was an unmistakable intelligence in that gaze. Suddenly, the squid shot upward, disappearing into the gloom. Moments later, the Leviathan's sensors blared a warning. "Multiple contacts," Jack shouted, hands flying over the controls. Something's coming up fast. A swarm of creatures, each the size of a small car, emerged from the darkness below. They looked like a nightmarish fusion of crustacean and eel, their armored bodies propelled by undulating fins. Impossible, Lyra breathed. These species, they shouldn't exist. The evolutionary leaps required. Her scientific musings were cut short as one of the creatures slammed into the Leviathan, rocking the submersible violently. "Hang on," Jack growled, engaging evasive maneuvers. The Leviathan dove and weaved, its advanced propulsion system proving its worth as they narrowly avoided the snapping pincers and whipping tails of their attackers. Lyra clung to her station, mind racing. "They're hurting us. Jack, can you get us any deeper?" Jack's jaw clenched as he pushed the Leviathan to its limits. "I'm trying, but these things are fast. Wait, what's that?" Ahead, a massive shape loomed in the darkness. As they approached, Lyra's eyes widened in disbelief. It was a structure, an enormous archway formed from what appeared to be living coral, pulsing with the same bioluminescent patterns they'd seen on the giant squid. "Take us through," Lyra shouted. Jack hesitated for a split second before making the call. He aimed the Leviathan straight for the arch, their pursuers hot on their tail. As they passed through, a shimmering field of energy rippled around them. Behind them, their attackers pulled up short, unwilling or unable to follow. "What just happened?" Jack asked, breathing heavily. Lyra shook her head, stunned. I think we just got invited in." They found themselves in a vast underwater canyon, illuminated by countless points of bioluminescent light. Structures that defied description lined the walls, a fusion of technology and living organism that boggled the mind. "My God," Lyra whispered, "it's a city. An ancient, underwater city." Before Jack could respond, a new alarm sounded. A massive tentacle, easily twice the size of the Leviathan, emerged from a nearby structure. But instead of attacking, it gently wrapped around their submersible, guiding them deeper into the heart of the underwater metropolis. Lyra?" Jack's voice was strained. "I think we found your source. Now what?" Lyra's heart raced with a mixture of fear and exhilaration. "Now, we make contact, and hope that whatever's down here is willing to help us save the world above." As the tentacle drew them towards a central structure that pulsed with blinding bioluminescence, Lyra realized that the true battle for Earth wasn't being fought in the skies or on land. It was here, in the lightless depths of the ocean, where an ancient power was stirring to face a cosmic threat. The fate of two worlds, one of light and one of darkness, hung in the balance, and Lyra and Jack were about to become the first human ambassadors to a civilization that had evolved in secret, deep beneath the waves. The Leviathan came to rest in a vast, bioluminescent chamber. Lyra and Jack stared in awe at the living architecture surrounding them, a fusion of coral, crystal, and pulsating organic matter. "External atmosphere is breathable," Jack announced, checking the sensors. "Pressure's been equalized too. Whatever's out there, they want us to come out." Lyra nodded, her heart pounding. "Let's not keep our host waiting." They donned streamlined diving suits as a precaution and exited the Leviathan through its airlock. The chamber's floor was spongy yet firm, pulsing gently beneath their feet. Suddenly, the walls rippled, and a figure emerged. It was vaguely humanoid, but its body seemed to be composed of the same bioluminescent coral as the surrounding structures. Its face was a swirling pattern of light that shifted constantly. A voice resonated in their minds, bypassing their ears entirely. "Welcome, surface dwellers. We are the Abyssal Collective." Lyra stepped forward, her scientific curiosity overriding her fear. "I'm Dr. Lyra Nakamura, and this is Jack Harper. We've come seeking help. Our world is under attack." The being's lights pulsed in acknowledgement. "We know of the crystal interlopers. Their presence disturbs the balance of the oceans, our domain. You're responsible for dissolving their ships," Jack stated, pieces falling into place. "Yes," the being confirmed. "We are the guardians of Earth's oceans, evolving alongside your kind for millennia. The threat from above awakened our defensive measures. Lyra's mind raced with implications. The microorganisms, the evolved sea creatures, it's all connected. You've been preparing for this. The being's form rippled in what might have been amusement. Perceptive. We have foreseen many threats in our long vigil. The crystal ones are but the latest. Then you'll help us? Jack asked, hope evident in his voice. The being's lights dimmed. It is not so simple. Our power is tied to the depth. To fully defend your world, we would need to extend our influence to the surface. The consequences could be unpredictable. Lyra understood the gravity of the situation. You're talking about fundamentally altering Earth's oceans. The ecological impact would be enormous. Indeed, the being confirmed. But the alternative is the crystal ones reshaping your world to their liking. The choice is yours. Jack and Lyra exchanged glances. The weight of the decision was staggering. We need to consult with our leaders, Lyra said carefully. Is there a way we can communicate with the surface? The being pulsed affirmatively. A tendril of bioluminescent energy extended towards the Leviathan, interfacing with its communications array. You may speak with your kind. Choose wisely, for the fate of two worlds hangs in the balance. As Lyra and Jack moved to contact the Nautilus, the chamber around them continued to pulse with ancient, alien life. The Abyssal Collective waited patiently, timeless guardians preparing to unleash their full power for the first time in Earth's history. In the tense moments that followed, as they explained the situation to a stunned Admiral Coda, Lyra couldn't help but wonder. In saving humanity from the Vextari, would they be opening the door to an even more profound transformation of life on Earth? The ocean, it seemed, had secrets yet to reveal, and the true battle for the planet's future was only just beginning. Admiral Coda's holographic image flickered in the Leviathan's communication array, her face a mask of concern. Dr. Nakamura, are you absolutely certain about this? The ecological implications are staggering. Lyra nodded gravely. Admiral, I understand the risks, but the Vextari leave us no choice. Their latest attacks have breached our coastal defenses in 3 locations. We're running out of time. Jack stepped forward. Ma'am, I've seen what these abyssal beings can do. If they can replicate the microorganism defense across all our oceans, the Vextari won't stand a chance. Coda's hologram turned, conferring with unseen advisors. After a tense moment, she faced them again. Very well, you have authorization to proceed. But Nakamura, Harper, you're to monitor the situation closely. At the first sign, this cure is worse than the disease. You pull the plug. Understood? Yes, Admiral, they replied in unison. As the communication ended, Lyra and Jack exchanged determined looks. They exited the Leviathan, approaching the patiently waiting abyssal being. We have our answer, Lyra announced. We accept your help, but we need to understand exactly what you're going to do. The being's bioluminescent patterns swirled faster. We will extend our neural network throughout Earth's oceans, linking all marine life into a unified defense system. The microorganisms you've encountered are but a fraction of our potential. Evolution will accelerate, the being explained. Marine life will adapt rapidly to combat the threat. Some species may change beyond recognition. The balance of your oceans will shift, but they will remain alive and free from the Crystal One's influence. Lyra took a deep breath. Do it. The chamber around them pulsed with intense light. The being seemed to expand, tendrils of bioluminescent energy spreading outward in all directions. It has begun, the being intoned. But be warned, the Crystal Ones will sense our awakening. They will strike hard to prevent it. As if on cue, the chamber shuddered violently. Alarms blared from the Leviathan. Multiple Vextari ships entering the Mariana Trench, Jack shouted, rushing back to the submersible. They're deploying some kind of energy weapon. Lyra turned to the abyssal being. How long do you need to complete the process? Time is meaningless in the depths, it replied cryptically. But in your terms, perhaps an hour. "We'll buy you that hour," Lyra declared, sprinting towards the Leviathan. Once inside, Jack fired up the engines. "What's the plan, Doc?" Lyra's mind raced. "We need to disrupt their attack, keep them focused on us instead of the ocean floor. Can we use the Leviathan's crystal probes as weapons?" Jack grinned. "Now you're talking my language." They shot out of the abyssal city, the water around them already beginning to churn with impossible life forms. Massive tentacles of living coral reached up from the seafloor, grasping at the descending Vextari ships. The Leviathan darted between the chaos, its advanced propulsion allowing it to outmaneuver the larger alien vessels. Jack fired crystalline projectiles with pinpoint accuracy, targeting the Vextari energy weapons. "It's working," Lyra exclaimed, watching the alien ships falter and redirect their attacks towards the Leviathan. "Keep them busy." But as they weaved through the underwater battlefield, Lyra realized the true scale of the transformation taking place. Schools of fish morphed before her eyes, developing bioluminescent patterns and crystalline scales. Whales, their songs now carrying complex data streams, rammed Vextari ships with impossible coordination. The ocean itself seemed to come alive, currents shifting to trap alien vessels in powerful vortexes. It was beautiful, terrifying, and utterly beyond anything humanity had ever witnessed. As the battle raged, Lyra understood that regardless of the outcome, the world above would never be the same. The age of the abyssal had begun, and humanity would have to adapt to a new equilibrium with the transformed oceans. But first, they had to survive the next hour, outmaneuvering the increasingly desperate Vextari assault. The fate of two worlds hung in the balance, with the Leviathan and its two-person crew at the eye of the storm. The Leviathan spiraled through a gauntlet of Vextari energy beams, its hull groaning under the strain. Jack's hands flew over the controls, pushing the submersible to its limits. "We can't keep this up forever, Lyra," he shouted over the blaring alarms. "How much longer?" Lyra's eyes darted between the external cameras and the biorhythm scanner she jury-rigged to monitor the abyssal transformation. "The process is only halfway complete. We need more time." Suddenly, a massive shape loomed before them. A Vextari dreadnought, easily 10 times the size of their previous encounters, descended from the surface. Its crystalline hull pulsed with ominous energy. "That's not good," Jack muttered, banking hard to avoid a barrage of energy torpedoes. The dreadnought's arrival seemed to turn the tide. The transformed sea life, formidable as it was, struggled against the sheer firepower of the massive vessel. Lyra watched in horror as a pod of cybernetically enhanced whales was vaporized by a single shot. "We need a new plan," she said, mind racing. "Jack, take us closer to the dreadnought." "Closer? Are you insane?" "Trust me," Lyra insisted, her fingers flying over the sensor array. "I have an idea." As they approached the behemoth, Lyra focused the Leviathan scanners on the dreadnought's hull. "Just as I thought. The Vextari have adapted, coating their ships with a neutralizing agent. That's why the ocean's defenses aren't as effective." Jack dodged another volley of attacks. "Great scientific observation, Doc. How does that help us not die?" Lyra grinned, a plan forming. "We're going to give them an overdose. See that intake valve? It's how they're cycling the neutralizing agent. If we can introduce a concentrated sample of the original microorganisms." "We overload their systems," Jack finished, catching on. "Risky, but I like it. One problem, how do we get close enough?" As if in answer, a massive tentacle of living coral erupted from the seafloor, wrapping around the dreadnought's lower section. The abyssal collective's voice resonated in their minds. "We will give you your opening. Be swift." Jack nodded grimly, guiding the Leviathan towards the momentarily immobilized dreadnought. Lyra prepared a canister of concentrated microorganisms, her hand hovering over the launch controls. "Steady," she murmured as they approached the intake valve. Vextari countermeasures battered the coral tentacle, which was already beginning to disintegrate under the assault. "Now," Jack yelled. Lyra fired. The canister shot out, streaking towards the valve. For a heart-stopping moment, she thought they'd missed. Then, with a flash of bioluminescence, the canister breached the dreadnought's defenses. Got it. Now let's get the hell out of here. Jack didn't need to be told twice. He gunned the Leviathan's engines, putting as much distance between them and the dreadnought as possible. For a few seconds, nothing seemed to happen. Then, a low rumble shook the water around them. The dreadnought's crystalline surface began to ripple and warp, spreading outward from the intake valve. "It's working," Lyra exclaimed, watching in awe as the massive ship began to dissolve from within. The effect cascaded through the Vextari fleet. Smaller ships that had come in contact with the dreadnought's neutralizing agent now found themselves vulnerable to the ocean's defenses. The water churned with disintegrating alien vessels and triumphant sea life. As the last Vextari ship crumbled, a wave of bioluminescence swept through the ocean. Lyra's scanner lit up like a Christmas tree. "The transformation," she breathed. "It's complete." The voice of the Abyssal Collective filled their minds once more. The threat is neutralized. Earth's oceans are now unified in their defense. But this is only the beginning. Lyra and Jack exchanged looks of exhausted relief and dawning apprehension. They had won the battle, but the war for Earth's future was far from over. As the Leviathan began its ascent to the surface, they braced themselves for the new world that awaited them, one where humanity would have to forge a new relationship with the awakened, transformed oceans. The age of abyssal alchemy had truly begun. The Leviathan breached the surface, bobbing in the choppy waves of the Pacific. Lyra and Jack emerged onto the deck, blinking in the harsh sunlight. The sky above was clear of Vextari ships, but the ocean around them teemed with impossible life. "My God," Jack whispered, watching a school of fish with crystalline fins leap over the bow. Lyra's comm unit crackled to life. Admiral Koda's voice came through, tense and urgent. "Nakamura, Harper, report. What's the situation?" "The Vextari fleet has been neutralized, Admiral," Lyra responded. "But the oceans, they've changed, dramatically." Before Koda could reply, a massive form rose from the depths beside them. It was a blue whale, but unlike any they'd seen before. Its skin pulsed with bioluminescent patterns, and what looked like organic technology was seamlessly integrated into its body. The whale's eye, now an orb of swirling blue energy, fixed upon them. The voice of the Abyssal Collective resonated in their minds. "The transformation is complete, but our work has just begun." Lyra stepped forward, her scientific curiosity overriding her awe. "What happens now?" "Now, we must establish a new equilibrium," the Collective answered. "The oceans will no longer be silent. We must teach your kind to listen." Suddenly, reports flooded in from around the world. Coastal cities were witnessing impossible sights: kelp forest growing at exponential rates, schools of bioluminescent fish forming living networks, and sea levels fluctuating in complex patterns. "Dr. Nakamura," Koda's voice cut through the chaos. "You're being recalled to Washington immediately. The President is convening an emergency summit. We need to understand what we're dealing with." As if in response, a massive tentacle of living coral erupted from the sea, forming a bridge to the Leviathan. The Collective spoke again. "We will send representatives. The future of both our realms depends on cooperation." Jack eyed the coral bridge warily. "I don't suppose we have a choice." Lyra shook her head, a mix of excitement and trepidation coursing through her. "No, we don't. But think about it, Jack. We're about to rewrite the entire relationship between land and sea." They stepped onto the coral bridge, which pulsed and shifted beneath their feet. As they walked, smaller aquatic life forms emerged from the structure, taking shapes vaguely reminiscent of humans, but composed entirely of bioluminescent marine organisms. The Leviathan's engines roared to life, guided by an unseen force. As they sped towards the coast, Lyra and Jack watched the ocean around them continue to transform. Massive structures of coral and crystal began to rise from the depths, forming the beginnings of a new civilization straddling the boundary between water and air. News helicopters circled overhead, broadcasting the incredible sights to a world holding its breath. Lyra knew that every nation, every scientist, every person on Earth would soon be grappling with the implications of what had happened. The Vextari threat had been neutralized, but humanity now faced a challenge perhaps even greater: learning to coexist with a newly awakened, hyper-evolved ocean ecosystem that was rapidly reshaping the planet. As they approached the coast, where a phalanx of military vehicles and government officials waited, Lyra turned to Jack. "Ready to help save the world again?" Jack managed a wry smile. "Honestly, Doc, I think the hard part's just beginning." The coral bridge extended onto the shore, and Lyra, Jack, and their entourage of abyssal representatives took their first steps onto land. The future of Earth hung in the balance, with the fate of two worlds now inextricably intertwined. The age of abyssal alchemy had dawned, and nothing would ever be the same. The presidential situation room buzzed with tension. World leaders, connected via secure video links, watched as Lyra and Jack presented their findings. Behind them, a containment tank housed several of the abyssal representatives, their bioluminescent forms shifting restlessly. In summary, Lyra concluded, the oceans have become a unified, hyper-evolved ecosystem with capabilities we're only beginning to understand. The Abyssal Collective has effectively ended the Vextari threat, but at a cost we couldn't have anticipated. The president leaned forward, her face grave. "Dr. Nakamura, what are we dealing with here? An invasion? A symbiosis?" Before Lyra could answer, one of the abyssal beings pressed against the glass. Its form coalesced into a rough approximation of a human face. "We are not invaders," it communicated, its thoughts resonating in everyone's minds. "We are the oceans awakened, seeking partnership with the land dwellers against cosmic threats." The room erupted in a cacophony of voices. The Chinese president demanded assurances about territorial waters. The Russian leader questioned the military applications of the new marine life forms. Environmental ministers from a dozen nations shouted concerns about ecological impact. Jack stepped forward, his commanding presence silencing the room. "Ladies and gentlemen, I understand your concerns. But right now, we need to focus on immediate global security. The Vextari may be defeated, but their allies could be on the way." As if on cue, an aide burst into the room. "Mr. President, we're detecting multiple anomalies at the edge of our solar system. It appears to be a second Vextari fleet, much larger than the first." The room fell silent. Lyra and Jack exchanged glances, then turned to the abyssal tank. "You knew this was coming," Lyra stated. The abyssal being rippled in affirmation. "The crystal ones are but the vanguard. A greater threat looms. We have prepared Earth's oceans. Now, we must prepare its lands and skies." The president stood, her decision made. "Dr. Nakamura, Mr. Harper, you've seen firsthand what these beings can do. I'm placing you in charge of a new task force. Work with the Abyssal Collective. Find a way to extend their defenses globally." Lyra's mind raced with the implications. "Madam President, you're talking about fundamentally altering Earth's biosphere. The risks are less than the risk of extinction," the president cut her off. "You have full authority and resources. Just get it done." As the world leaders began debating evacuation plans and military responses, Lyra and Jack huddled with the abyssal representatives. "We'll need to start with the planet's major ecosystems," Lyra mused. "Rainforests, deserts, tundras. Each will require a unique approach." Jack nodded grimly. "And we'll need to prep our own tech. If we're going up against a full-scale invasion, we'll want more than just biological defenses." The abyssal being pulsed with approval. "Yes, a fusion of your technology and our evolved biology. Together, we will forge a new defense for this world." As they exited the situation room, Lyra felt the weight of responsibility settling on her shoulders. They had weeks, maybe months, before the next wave hit. In that time, they needed to transform the entire planet into a unified defense system. "You know," Jack said as they hurried down the hallway, "when I signed up for the Navy, I never imagined I'd end up trying to save the world with a bunch of glowing sea creatures." Lyra managed a small smile. "Well, at least it's not boring. Come on, we've got work to do." They stepped out into the sunlight, where a modified Osprey aircraft waited to take them to their new base of operations. As they boarded, Lyra caught sight of the ocean in the distance. Its waters shimmered with newfound life and purpose. The battle for Earth's survival was far from over. But for the first time since the Vextari arrived, Lyra felt a glimmer of hope. Humanity, united with the awakened oceans, stood ready to face whatever the cosmos might throw at them. The next few weeks passed in a blur of frenetic activity. Lyra and Jack, working alongside a global team of scientists and military personnel, raced to implement the Abyssal Collective's defensive measures across Earth's varied ecosystems. Their base of operations, a repurposed aircraft carrier dubbed the US Gaia, sailed the world's oceans. Its deck bustled with a mix of human researchers and Abyssal representatives, all working in concert to prepare for the impending invasion. "Status report," Lyra called out, striding onto the bridge. Holographic displays flickered to life, showing the progress of their global efforts. Dr. Amelia Chen, their lead botanist, stepped forward. "The Amazon transformation is at 60% completion. We've successfully integrated the abyssal biotech into the root systems of major tree species. The entire rainforest is becoming a linked defense network." Jack nodded approvingly. "Good. What about the desert regions?" Dr. Yusuf Al-Fad, arid ecosystem specialist, pulled up another display. "We've made breakthroughs in the Sahara. By introducing modified extremophiles into the sand, we're creating a subsurface early warning system. Any Vextari ground forces will trigger an immediate response." Lyra studied the global map, noting the steadily growing patches of green indicating transformed areas. "We're making progress, but not fast enough. The latest deep space telemetry suggests we have less than a week before the Vextari fleet arrives." As if to underscore her point, an alarm blared. A junior officer rushed in, face pale. "Dr. Nakamura, Mr. Harper, we've got a problem. A Vextari scout ship just breached our outer defenses. It's heading for the Siberian tundra." Jack's eyes narrowed. "They're probing for weaknesses, testing our new defenses." Lyra turned to the abyssal representative floating in a nearby tank. "Can your oceanic defenses extend to the tundra?" The being's form rippled. "The distance is great, but not insurmountable. We will need a conduit." Understanding dawned on Lyra. "The rivers. We can use the river systems to channel your influence inland." Jack was already moving. "I'll prep a strike team. We need to slow that scout ship down while you work your magic, Doc." As Jack assembled a rapid response force, Lyra coordinated with the Abyssal Collective and their tundra experts. They identified key rivers flowing from the Arctic Ocean into the Siberian interior and began the process of infusing them with abyssal biotech. Hours later, Lyra watched tensely from the US Gaia's command center as Jack's team engaged the Vextari scout. The alien vessel was formidable, its crystalline weapons slicing through conventional defenses with ease. But as the battle raged, tendrils of bioluminescent energy began creeping across the tundra, following the path of rivers and streams. The permafrost itself came alive, ancient microorganisms awakening and evolving rapidly. The Vextari ship, focused on the human attackers, didn't notice the danger until it was too late. Massive ice formations, infused with abyssal energy, erupted from the ground, ensnaring the alien vessel. Within minutes, the scout ship was reduced to glittering dust, dissolved by the same microorganisms that had defeated the first invasion fleet. As Jack's team returned victorious, Lyra allowed herself a moment of relief. They had successfully defended a vulnerable area and proven that their land-based adaptations of abyssal tech were effective. But the real test was yet to come. The main Vextari fleet loomed ever closer, and Earth's transformation was far from complete. Lyra addressed her assembled team, her voice firm with resolve. "What we've accomplished here is just the beginning. We've proven that we can adapt the abyssal defenses to any environment. Now, we need to finish what we started. Every ecosystem, every corner of this planet needs to be ready. As the Gaia set sail for its next destination, Lyra gazed out at the horizon. The ocean shimmered with newfound life and purpose, a testament to the incredible changes they'd set in motion. But the sky above remained a looming threat, a reminder of the cosmic battle that awaited them. With renewed determination, Lyra turned back to her work. The fate of Earth hung in the balance, and she was determined to see humanity, united with its new abyssal allies, emerge victorious. The sky above New York City erupted in a dazzling display of light and energy as the Vextari invasion fleet breached Earth's atmosphere. Massive crystalline ships, each the size of a small city, descended through the clouds, their faceted surfaces reflecting the panicked chaos below. From the observation deck of the hastily constructed Planetary Defense Headquarters, Dr. Lyra Nakamura watched the invasion unfold with a mixture of dread and determination. The past month had been a whirlwind of preparation, transforming Earth into a unified defensive organism with the help of the Abyssal Collective. Now, the moment of truth had arrived. "Status report," Lyra commanded, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. Holographic displays flickered to life around her, showing real-time data from across the globe. Rivers pulsed with bioluminescent energy, forests stirred with newfound sentience, and deserts rippled with subsurface activity. The entire planet was coming alive, ready to repel the alien threat. A gruff voice cut through the tense atmosphere. "Orbital defenses are online and engaging the enemy." Lyra turned to see Jack Harper striding onto the deck, his scarred face set in grim determination. As the newly appointed commander of Earth's combined defense forces, he carried the weight of humanity's survival on his shoulders. "Jack," Lyra greeted him, relief evident in her voice. "What's the situation in space?" He joined her at the viewport, watching as streaks of energy crisscrossed the sky. "It's a bloodbath up there. Our abyssal-enhanced ships are holding their own, but the Vextari numbers are overwhelming. We need a game-changer, and fast." As if in response to his words, an alarm blared from one of the nearby consoles. A young technician's voice quavered as he reported, "Dr. Nakamura, we're detecting an anomalous signal. It's not coming from the Vextari fleet." Lyra rushed to the console, her heart racing. The signal's origin appeared as a pulsing red dot on the star map, originating from somewhere beyond the edge of the solar system. "Can you isolate it?" she asked, mind already racing with possibilities. The technician's fingers flew over the controls. "I'm trying, but it's like nothing we've ever seen before. Wait, there's a message embedded in the signal. It's coordinates, Dr. Nakamura, coordinates on Earth." Jack joined them, his brow furrowed. "A third player entering the game? This complicates things." Lyra's eyes met Jack's, a silent understanding passing between them. Whatever this new development was, it could be the key to turning the tide of the invasion. "I need to check this out," Lyra said, already moving towards the exit. Jack nodded, his expression torn between concern and resolve. "Go. I'll hold the line here." "But Lyra," he called after her, "be careful. We're in uncharted territory now." As Lyra hurried from the command center, the sky outside erupted in a fresh barrage of alien weaponry. The battle for Earth had begun in earnest, but the true nature of the conflict was only just beginning to reveal itself. With the fate of the world hanging in the balance, Lyra raced against time to uncover the secrets of the mysterious signal. Little did she know, her journey would take her to the heart of a cosmic crucible where the destiny of not just Earth, but the entire galaxy would be forged. Lyra's transport shuttle skimmed low over the Atacama Desert, its abyssal-enhanced engines humming with otherworldly energy. The coordinates from the mysterious signal had led her to one of the driest places on Earth, now transformed into a living sensor array by their recent preparations. As they approached the target location, Lyra felt the desert itself responding to their presence. The ground rippled beneath them, microscopic organisms working in concert to form patterns visible from the air. "We're here," the pilot announced, bringing the shuttle down in a swirl of sand. Lyra stepped out, her specialized suit immediately adapting to the harsh environment. The air shimmered with heat, but there was something else, a palpable sense of anticipation. "Fan out," she ordered the small team of researchers accompanying her. "Look for anything unusual." They had barely begun their search when the ground trembled. A few meters away, the sand began to shift and swirl, forming a vortex that grew larger by the second. Lyra approached cautiously, her hand hovering over the abyssal tech communicator at her belt. Suddenly, the vortex collapsed, revealing a gleaming object half buried in the sand. It was roughly spherical, about the size of a basketball, with an iridescent surface that seemed to shift and flow like liquid metal. "My God," one of the researchers whispered. "It's beautiful." Lyra knelt beside the object, her scientific curiosity overriding her caution. As she reached out to touch it, the sphere pulsed with an inner light. Instantly, her mind was flooded with images, a stream of information so vast and complex it threatened to overwhelm her. She saw star systems she didn't recognize, civilizations rising and falling, and at the center of it all, a conflict so ancient it predated human history. The Vextari were there, but they weren't the instigators. They were running from something far worse. With a gasp, Lyra broke contact with the sphere. Her team crowded around her, concern etched on their faces. "Dr. Nakamura, are you all right?" one of them asked. Lyra nodded, her mind reeling from the experience. "We need to get this back to headquarters immediately, and someone get me a secure line to Jack. The situation is far more complicated than we thought." As they carefully loaded the artifact onto the shuttle, Lyra's communicator crackled to life. Jack's voice came through, tense and urgent. "Lyra, tell me you've got good news. The Vextari have broken through our outer defenses. They're making planetfall in multiple locations." Lyra glanced at the sphere, now secured in a containment field. "I've got news, Jack, but I'm not sure if it's good. We found something. An artifact of some kind. It showed me things. Jack, this war, it's not what we think it is." There was a pause on the other end. When Jack spoke again, his voice was low and determined. "Get back here as fast as you can. Whatever you found, it might be our last hope." As the shuttle lifted off, Lyra watched the desert recede below them. In the distance, flashes of light marked the ongoing battle between Earth's defenders and the Vextari invaders. But now, armed with the knowledge from the artifact, she understood that this was merely the surface of a much deeper, more ancient conflict. The artifact pulsed gently in its containment field, as if eager to reveal more of its secrets. Lyra settled in for the flight back, her mind racing with possibilities and dangers. Whatever this object was, it had the power to change everything. The question was, would it be their salvation or the key to their ultimate destruction? As the shuttle streaked across the sky, the fate of Earth, and perhaps the entire galaxy, rested in Lyra's hands. The Planetary Defense Headquarters was a hive of frantic activity when Lyra arrived. Technicians and officers rushed about, coordinating Earth's defenses against the Vextari onslaught. Jack met her at the entrance to the secure lab, his face etched with tension. "What have we got?" he asked, falling into step beside her. Lyra placed the containment field holding the artifact on the central analysis platform. "It's a repository of some kind, Jack, filled with information about a conflict that spans millennia." As the lab sensors began scanning the sphere, Lyra quickly briefed Jack on her vision. His expression grew increasingly grim as she explained the true nature of the Vextari's arrival. "So they're refugees, not conquerors," Jack mused, rubbing his chin. "In a sense," Lyra nodded, "but that doesn't make them any less dangerous. They're desperate, and they see Earth as their last hope for survival." Their conversation was interrupted by a loud beep from the analysis console. Dr. Chen, the lead xenotechnologist, called out, "Dr. Nakamura, we're detecting a massive energy buildup within the artifact." The sphere began to pulse rapidly, its surface rippling like quicksilver. Suddenly, a holographic projection filled the lab, showing a star map of the local galaxy cluster. A single point of light pulsed ominously at its center. A voice, unlike anything Lyra had ever heard, resonated through the room. It spoke in no recognizable language, yet somehow she understood every word. "Humans of Earth, heed our warning. The Vextari flee from a threat beyond your comprehension. We are the Ziontar, guardians of the galactic core. The enemy that pursues them, that now approaches your world, cannot be allowed to gain a foothold in this sector." The hologram shifted, showing a massive, dark shape moving through space, consuming everything in its path. This is the Void Harmony, an entity of pure entropy. It seeks to unravel the very fabric of the universe. The Vextari's desperate flight has led it to your world. You must prepare. Jack stepped forward, his voice firm. "Prepare how? We're barely holding our own against the Vextari." The voice of the Ziontar continued, unperturbed. "The artifact we have sent contains the knowledge you need. But be warned, using it will forever change your world and your place in the cosmos." With those ominous words, the hologram vanished, leaving the lab in stunned silence. Lyra turned to Jack, her mind racing with the implications. "We need to make contact with the Vextari. If what the Ziontar said is true, we're all in danger." Jack nodded grimly. "I'll need to convince the world's leaders. This changes everything." As if to underscore the urgency of their situation, alarms blared throughout the facility. A voice came over the intercom. "Multiple Vextari capital ships breaching lower atmosphere. All personnel to battle stations." Lyra and Jack shared a look of determination. The fate of not just Earth, but the entire galaxy, now rested on their ability to turn enemies into allies, and to prepare for a threat beyond imagination. As they rushed from the lab, the artifact continued to pulse, its secrets waiting to be unlocked. The true battle, it seemed, was only just beginning. The United Nations Security Council chamber buzzed with tension as Jack addressed the assembled world leaders. Holographic displays showed the ongoing Vextari invasion, with battles raging across the globe. "Ladies and gentlemen," Jack began, his voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "We've received new intelligence that changes everything. The Vextari are not our true enemy." A murmur of disbelief rippled through the room. Jack quickly outlined the revelations from the Ziontar artifact, emphasizing the existential threat posed by the Void Harmony. As he finished, the Chinese president leaned forward. "Commander Harper, you're suggesting we ally with the very beings currently destroying our cities." Jack nodded grimly. "I know it sounds insane, but we don't have a choice. This Void Harmony is coming, and we need the Vextari's advanced technology to have any hope of survival." The room erupted in heated debate. Jack stood firm, fielding questions and objections with unwavering resolve. Finally, after what felt like hours, a consensus was reached. "You have our authorization, Commander," the U.S. President declared. "Make contact with the Vextari. But be warned, the fate of humanity rests on your shoulders." Meanwhile, in the secure lab, Lyra worked feverishly to decipher more of the artifact's secrets. The Ziontar knowledge was vast and complex, challenging her understanding of physics and biology. "Dr. Nakamura," Dr. Chen called out, "I think we found something." Lyra rushed over to his console. On the screen, a complex diagram pulsed with energy. It showed Earth, but not as they knew it. The planet was encased in a shimmering field of energy, its core transformed into something more. "It's a planetary defense system," Lyra breathed, her mind racing with the implications. But implementing this, it would fundamentally alter Earth's structure. Before she could delve deeper, Jack burst into the lab. "We've got approval. We're making contact with the Vextari in 1 hour. Please tell me you've got something that will convince them to help us." Lyra gestured to the diagram. "We might, but Jack, the cost." He placed a hand on her shoulder, his expression solemn. "Whatever it is, it's got to be better than extinction." As they prepared for the most important diplomatic meeting in human history, alarms blared once again. A technician's panicked voice came over the intercom. Massive anomaly detected at the edge of the solar system. It's consuming Pluto. Lyra and Jack shared a look of dread. The void harmony had arrived, and they were out of time. Jack squared his shoulders. Let's go make some new friends. As they hurried to the communications center, Lyra couldn't shake the feeling that regardless of the outcome, Earth would never be the same again. The next few hours would determine not just their fate, but the fate of the entire galaxy. The cosmic crucible was heating up, and humanity was about to be tested like never before. The communications center hummed with nervous energy as Lyra and Jack prepared to make contact with the Vextari. Advanced holographic projectors, hastily retrofitted with abyssal technology, flickered to life. Transmitting now, a technician announced. The air shimmered, and suddenly they were face to face with the crystalline visage of the Vextari commander. Its multifaceted eyes regarded them with a mixture of hostility and curiosity. Humans, it spoke, its voice a symphony of chiming tones. You dare to call us in the midst of battle? Jack stepped forward, his posture radiating authority. We come with vital information and a proposal. The true enemy approaches, and we must unite or face annihilation. The Vextari commander's form rippled with surprise. Explain. Lyra took over, quickly outlining their discovery of the Ziontar artifact and the impending threat of the void harmony. As she spoke, she could see the Vextari's crystalline structure pulsing with increasing agitation. The Devourers, the commander hissed. We thought we had escaped them. Then you know we speak the truth, Jack pressed. We need to combine our forces, or none of us will survive. The Vextari was silent for a long moment. Then, with a sound like shattering glass, it nodded. We will cease hostilities. But know this, humans, if you betray us, we will ensure your world burns before the void claims us all. As the transmission ended, a cheer went up in the command center. But Lyra and Jack exchanged grim looks, knowing the hardest part was yet to come. We need to implement the Ziontar defense system, Lyra said. But Jack, you need to understand what that means. It will change Earth on a fundamental level. The planet itself will become a living weapon. Jack's jaw clenched. Do we have a choice? Before Lyra could respond, the facility shook violently. Alarms blared as a technician shouted, Massive energy spike. The void harmony has entered the inner solar system. Show me, Jack commanded. The main screen lit up with a view of space. What they saw defied comprehension. A vast, writhing darkness was consuming everything in its path. Stars winked out of existence as it approached, reality itself seeming to unravel at its edges. How long? Lyra asked, her voice barely a whisper. At its current speed, it will reach Earth in less than 24 hours, the technician replied, his voice shaking. Jack turned to Lyra, his eyes blazing with determination. Do it. Whatever it takes, we need that defense system online. Lyra nodded, already moving towards the lab. I'll need the Vextari's help. Their crystal tech combined with the abyssal bioengineering might just give us the power we need. As they raced against time, the sky above turned ominous. The void harmony's approach was visible now, a creeping darkness blotting out the stars. In labs and command centers around the world, humans worked side by side with their former enemies. Vextari crystal ships merged with abyssal-enhanced vessels, forming a last line of defense in Earth's orbit. And deep beneath the surface, at the planet's very core, something stirred. The Earth itself was awakening, preparing for a transformation that would reshape the very nature of their world. The final battle for existence was about to begin, and the fate of the universe hung in the balance. The Earth trembled. Deep beneath the surface, Lyra stood in a vast cavern, surrounded by a dizzying array of Vextari crystals and pulsating abyssal tech. The planet's molten core roiled before her, barely contained by force fields. It's time, she spoke into her calm, her voice echoing in the chamber. Miles above, Jack's grip tightened on the command console. "Do it." Lyra took a deep breath and plunged her hands into the interface. Instantly, her consciousness expanded, merging with the planet itself. She felt every mountain, every ocean, every living creature on Earth's surface. The pain was excruciating, her human mind struggling to comprehend the vastness of an entire world. In orbit, Vextari and human ships alike watched in awe as the planet began to glow. Cracks appeared in the Earth's crust, not with destruction, but with purpose. Rivers of light flowed through these fissures, forming intricate patterns across the globe. The void harmony loomed ever closer, its tendrils of nothingness reaching out to caress the moon. The satellite shuddered and then imploded, erased from existence in a heartbeat. Lyra screamed, the pain of transformation threatening to tear her apart. But she held on, guiding the process with every ounce of her will. The knowledge of the Zionhar, the crystal tech of the Vextari, and the adaptive biology of the Abyssal Collective all flowed through her, reshaping the very foundations of Earth. In the command center, Jack watched the monitors with growing concern. "Lyra's vitals are critical," a medic reported. "If we don't pull her out soon, we'll lose her." Jack's fists clenched. "Hold position. She's our only hope." The transformation reached its crescendo. The Earth's core flared with blinding light, visible even through the thick crust. For a moment, everything went silent. Then, with a sound that shook the cosmos, Earth awakened. The planet's surface rippled like water, mountains flowing and reforming. Oceans rose into the sky, forming barriers of living water. The atmosphere itself came alive, charged with energy that crackled between newborn crystalline spires that thrust up from the ground. In the core chamber, Lyra collapsed, her body smoking from the energy that had coursed through her. As medics rushed to her aid, she managed to whisper, "It's done." The Earth, now a living weapon of unimaginable power, turned its attention to the approaching void. Humanity, the Vextari, and the very planet itself stood united against the cosmic horror that threatened all existence. Jack's voice rang out across all channels, rallying their unprecedented alliance. "This is our last stand. Not just for Earth, not just for our species, but for the very fabric of reality. Whatever happens next, know that we face it together." As the void harmony struck the outer edges of the solar system, reality itself seemed to hold its breath. The final battle for existence was about to begin, and its outcome would echo across the universe for eternity. The void harmony's tendrils lashed out, seeking to unravel the very fabric of space-time. But as they approached Earth, they met resistance unlike anything the cosmic horror had ever encountered. Earth's new defenses sprang to life. Crystalline spires pulsed with energy, projecting a shimmering barrier that enveloped the planet. The oceans, now sentient and purpose-driven, rose up in massive tidal waves that froze in place, forming an additional layer of living armor. In orbit, the combined Vextari and human fleet engaged the outer edges of the void. Ships unleashed salvos of energy weapons, their beams amplified by Earth's pulsating core. Each hit caused the darkness to recoil, if only for a moment. Jack stood at the command center, his face illuminated by the apocalyptic light show unfolding before him. "Status report," he barked. "The void harmony is slowing," a technician reported, awe in his voice. "Earth's defenses are actually holding it back." But their victory was short-lived. The void seemed to pause, as if considering this new challenge. Then, with terrifying speed, it adapted. Tendrils of nothingness slipped through microscopic gaps in Earth's shield, probing for weaknesses. Alarms blared as sections of the planet's surface began to disintegrate, reality itself unraveling wherever the void touched. "We need more power," Jack shouted into his comm. "Lyra, can you hear me? We need to push it back." In the core chamber, Lyra stirred. Her body was battered, pushed far beyond human limits. But as she heard Jack's call, something deep within her responded. With a Herculean effort, she pushed herself up and stumbled towards the interface. "I can give you more," she whispered, her voice hoarse. "But the cost?" She didn't finish the sentence. Instead, she plunged her hands back into the molten interface, screaming as energy coursed through her once more. The effect was immediate and staggering. Earth's core flared with blinding intensity, the planet's entire mass converting to pure energy. The shield around Earth expanded explosively, pushing back the encroaching void with such force that it sent shockwaves through space-time itself. For a moment, it seemed like they had won. The void harmony reeled, its formless mass contracting as if in pain. But then, something unexpected happened. As Earth's energy wave struck the void's core, both forces began to intermingle. The boundary between existence and nothingness blurred, creating a swirling maelstrom of creation and destruction. In the heart of this cosmic storm, a new form began to take shape. It was neither void nor matter, but something entirely new, something that defied the very laws of physics. As the transformation reached its peak, a pulse of energy unlike anything ever seen before exploded outward. It engulfed Earth, the void harmony, and spread rapidly across the galaxy. In an instant, everything changed. The command center went dark. When emergency power flickered on, Jack found himself staring at a completely altered sky. The stars had shifted, new constellations painting unfamiliar patterns across the heavens. "What just happened?" he breathed, his mind struggling to comprehend the scale of the change. As reports began to flood in from around the world and beyond, one thing became clear: the universe as they knew it had been fundamentally altered, and at the center of it all was Earth, forever changed, now a nexus point in a new cosmic order. The battle was over, but the true consequences of their desperate gambit were only beginning to unfold. In the days that followed, Earth became the focal point of a transformed galaxy. The planet, now a swirling amalgamation of matter and energy, pulsed with power beyond comprehension. Continents shifted like living entities, oceans flowed with bioluminescent patterns, and the very air crackled with potential. Jack stood atop what was once the Planetary Defense Headquarters, now a towering spire of crystal and living metal that reached into the stratosphere. He gazed out at the altered landscape, his mind still reeling from the magnitude of change. "Commander," a voice called from behind him. He turned to see Dr. Chen, his face a mix of excitement and trepidation. "We've completed our initial analysis of the new Earth. You're not going to believe this." Chen activated a holographic display, showing a three-dimensional model of the planet. "The merger of void energy and our defenses has created a new form of matter. We're calling it quantum flux. It allows for instantaneous manipulation of reality on a subatomic level." Jack's brow furrowed. "In English, Doc. We can reshape matter, energy, even space-time itself, with a thought," Chen explained, his eyes wide. "The entire planet has become a cosmic engine, capable of influencing the very fabric of the universe." Before Jack could respond, an alert chimed. A communication request from deep space. "This is Commander Harper," Jack answered cautiously. The voice that responded was familiar, yet changed. "Jack, it's Lyra. You need to see this." A new hologram sprang to life, showing a vast starscape. At its center was a swirling vortex of energy, beautiful and terrifying in its complexity. "What am I looking at, Lyra?" Jack asked, his voice tight. "The birth of a new universe," Lyra replied, awe evident in her tone. "When we merged with the void harmony, we didn't just change Earth. We created a bridge between realities. This vortex is a gateway to endless possibilities, new dimensions waiting to be explored." Jack's mind raced with the implications. "Are you saying we've become gods?" Lyra finished. "Maybe. Or maybe we've just taken the next step in cosmic evolution. Either way, humanity's role in the universe has changed forever." As if to underscore her point, the hologram shifted, showing alien ships approaching Earth from all directions. Some were recognizable as Vextari, others completely unknown. "They're coming, Jack," Lyra said urgently. "Representatives from every corner of the galaxy. They've felt the change, and they're looking to us for answers." Jack straightened, the weight of responsibility settling on his shoulders. Then we'd better have some ready. How soon can you get back to Earth? That's the thing, Jack. Lyra's voice held a note of wonder. With what I've become, with what Earth has become, distance doesn't mean the same thing anymore. I'm already there. As she spoke, a shimmering portal opened beside Jack. Lyra stepped through, but she was transformed. Her body glowed with inner light, and reality seemed to bend around her. My God, Lyra, Jack breathed. What happened to you? She smiled, a smile that held the wisdom of ages. The same thing that's happening to all of us, Jack. We're evolving. The question is, into what? As they turned to face the approaching alien armada, Earth pulsed beneath them, ready to meet its new destiny. The cosmic crucible had forged them anew, and the true test of humanity's place in the universe was about to begin. The sky above Earth shimmered with the arrival of countless alien vessels, their designs as varied as the stars themselves. In what was once the Ungeneral Assembly, now a vast chamber of living crystal, representatives from across the galaxy gathered. Jack stood at the podium, Lyra by his side, her presence radiating an otherworldly calm. The chamber buzzed with a cacophony of languages, instantly translated by Earth's new quantum field. Representatives of the galaxy, Jack began, his voice carrying an authority that silenced the room. We stand at a crossroads of cosmic history. The threat of the void harmony has been neutralized, but at a cost none of us could have imagined. Murmurs rippled through the audience. A Vextari delegate stepped forward, its crystalline form glittering. You have reshaped the very fabric of reality. How can we trust that you won't become the very threat you claim to have defeated? Lyra stepped up, her eyes glowing with inner light. We don't ask for your trust. We ask for your cooperation. What has happened here is bigger than any one species. The power we now wield is not just ours, but a cosmic inheritance for all sentient life. She waved her hand, and the chamber transformed. Suddenly, they were floating in space, surrounded by the swirling energies of the new universe. Behold, Lyra continued, the birth of new realities, dimensions where the laws of physics as we know them don't apply, gateways to possibilities beyond our wildest dreams. The alien delegates watched in awe as entire galaxies formed and dissolved before their eyes. Jack stepped forward again, his expression resolute. We propose a galactic concord. Earth will serve as the nexus, the anchor point between realities. But we cannot, will not, govern alone. Each of you, every species represented here, has a crucial role to play in shaping our collective future. A new voice rang out, ancient and powerful. And what of those who came before, those who warned you of the void? The crowd parted, revealing a being of pure energy. The Zionhar emissary had arrived. Jack met its gaze unflinchingly. You gave us the tools to save ourselves, and for that, we're grateful. But the universe has changed. The old order, the old powers, must adapt or be left behind. The Zionhar pulsed with what might have been amusement. You speak boldly for one so young. Very well, humans, show us this new path you propose. Lyra raised her hands, and the cosmic vision around them shifted. They saw a future of unparalleled cooperation, of species working together to explore the new frontiers of reality. But they also glimpsed dangers, dark possibilities born from the merging of void and matter. This is the choice before us, Lyra declared. Unity in the face of infinite possibility, or division that could tear reality itself apart. As the vision faded, the chamber erupted in debate. Species that had been mortal enemies for millennia found common ground in the face of this new paradigm. Others recoiled, fearful of the power Earth now wielded. Jack turned to Lyra, his voice low. Do you think they'll agree? Lyra's eyes swept the room, seeing not just with her physical senses, but with her newfound cosmic awareness. They don't have a choice. The change has already begun. The question is, will they help shape it, or be shaped by it? As the galactic representatives argued and negotiated, Earth pulsed beneath them, a living reminder of the transformation that had overtaken the universe. The cosmic crucible had forged a new reality, And now it was up to all sentient life to determine what that reality would become. The fate of not just one universe, but countless realities, hung in the balance, and humanity, for better or worse, found itself at the center of it all. The Galactic Concord's inaugural session stretched into its third day, a blink of an eye in cosmic terms, but an eternity for those involved. Jack rubbed his temples, fatigue etching lines on his face as he listened to yet another impassioned speech from a methane-breathing delegate. Lyra materialized beside him, her form shimmering with barely contained energy. "The Vextari are getting restless," she murmured. "They're pushing for immediate access to the quantum flux technology." Jack's jaw clenched. And risk another arms race? Not a chance. A commotion near the chamber's entrance drew their attention. A late arrival pushed through the crowd, its amorphous body leaving a trail of iridescent slime. The being pulsed with urgency, its thoughts broadcasting loudly enough for everyone to hear. Catastrophe, the quantum rifts. They're destabilizing entire sectors. The chamber erupted into chaos. Accusations flew as species blamed each other for reckless experimentation with the new cosmic forces. Jack slammed his fist on the podium, the sound reverberating with unnatural force. "Enough," he roared. "This is exactly why we need the Concorde. Lyra, show them." With a gesture, Lyra transformed the chamber once more. But this time, instead of awe-inspiring vistas, they witnessed scenes of devastation. Planets torn apart by gravitational anomalies, stars collapsing into themselves, entire civilizations vanishing in the blink of an eye. "This is the price of disunity," Lyra's voice echoed, tinged with sorrow. "The power we've unleashed doesn't recognize borders or species. It's a fundamental shift in the cosmos itself." The Giant Heart emissary floated forward, its energy form pulsing with concern. "You speak of unity, humans, but can you truly deliver it? Your own history is fraught with conflict." Jack stepped up, his eyes blazing with determination. "We've made mistakes, yes, but we've also overcome them. Time and again, humanity has faced extinction and emerged stronger. We don't claim to be perfect, but we're uniquely qualified to navigate this new reality." A Vextari representative chimed in, its crystalline form resonating with skepticism. "Pretty word, Commander, but how do you propose to actually stabilize these rifts?" Lyra's form began to glow brighter, her voice taking on an otherworldly timbre. "Not through technology alone, but through consciousness itself. The quantum flux responds to thought, to will. We must learn to shape reality not just with our hands, but with our minds." She raised her arms, and suddenly every being in the chamber felt a connection, a vast network of consciousness spanning the galaxy. For a brief moment, they were one, their collective will focused on healing the cosmic wounds. As the vision faded, a hush fell over the assembly. The enormity of what they had just experienced settled in. Species that had been at each other's throats moments ago now looked at their neighbors with new understanding. Jack seized the moment. "This is what we're offering. Not just a political alliance, but a merging of minds and purpose. Earth will be the anchor, the nexus point, but every one of you has a crucial role to play." The chamber buzzed with renewed energy as delegates huddled, discussing this new proposal with growing excitement. The Xionhar emissary approached Jack and Lyra, its form flickering with what might have been approval. "You continue to surprise us, humans. Perhaps there is hope for this new cosmos after all." As the Galactic Concorde began to take shape, with treaties being drafted and alliances formed, Jack turned to Lyra. "Think we can pull this off?" Lyra's eyes sparkled with the light of newborn stars. "We don't have a choice. The universe is watching. Jack, it's time for humanity to lead the cosmic dance." Outside, Earth pulsed with newfound power, a beacon of hope in a transformed galaxy. The cosmic crucible had forged them anew, and now, standing at the threshold of infinite possibilities, humanity prepared to take its first steps into a universe reborn. The end was just the beginning. The quantum rift pulsed with otherworldly energy, its edges fraying reality like torn fabric. Jack Harper stood at the precipice, his body tingling with the raw power emanating from the tear in space-time. 5 years as Earth's emissary to the galactic Concord had changed him, his once human form now a swirling amalgam of matter and energy. Analysis complete. Commander, his AI assistant chimed in his mind. The rift's quantum signature matches the others we've encountered. It's artificial. Jack's ethereal features hardened. This was the 12th such rift they'd discovered in as many days, each one threatening to unravel the delicate cosmic tapestry they'd worked so hard to weave. "Can you pinpoint the origin?" he asked, his voice resonating with multidimensional harmonics. Before the AI could respond, a familiar presence materialized beside him. Lyra, once his colleague, now a being of pure quantum energy, coalesced into a vaguely humanoid form. "It's one of ours, Jack," she said, her voice tinged with concern. "The quantum signature, it's human." The revelation hit Jack like a supernova. Humans, causing these rifts, impossible. The Galactic Concord had strict protocols for quantum manipulation, unless... "Nexus," he breathed, the name sending ripples through the surrounding space. Lyra nodded grimly. "The rogue faction. They've been quiet for months. I feared they were up to something." Jack's mind raced. Nexus, a splinter group of humans who rejected the Concord's authority, had been a thorn in their side since the early days of Earth's cosmic ascension. But this level of quantum manipulation was beyond anything they'd demonstrated before. "We need to inform the Concord," Jack said, already reaching out with his consciousness to establish a quantum link. Lyra's form flickered with agitation. "Jack, wait. If word gets out that humans are behind this, it could shatter the trust we've built with other species. The Vextari are already wary of our power. This could push them over the edge." She was right, and Jack knew it. The political ramifications could be catastrophic, but the rifts were growing more frequent, more unstable. They needed help. "What do you propose?" he asked, knowing he wouldn't like the answer. Lyra's form solidified, determination radiating from her quantum core. "We go dark. Off the grid. Find Nexus ourselves and shut them down before this gets worse." Jack hesitated. Going rogue themselves, even temporarily, went against everything he stood for as a leader in the new cosmic order. But the alternative? "All right," he conceded. "But we do this by the book. No unnecessary risks." Lyra's form rippled with what might have been amusement. "Jack, we're living quantum anomalies. Everything we do is a risk." As if to underscore her point, the rift behind them pulsed violently, sending out a shockwave of distorted space-time. Jack and Lyra phased instinctively, letting the wave pass through their quantum forms. "We need to move fast," Jack said, his resolve hardening. If Nexus has truly mastered this level of quantum manipulation, they're not just a threat to the Concord. They could unravel reality itself. With a shared thought, Jack and Lyra merged their consciousness, preparing to jump through quantum space. As they leapt into the unknown, leaving the rift to be contained by automated systems, Jack couldn't shake a feeling of foreboding. Something ancient stirred in the depths of the cosmos, its attention drawn by the ripples of human ambition. The game was changing, and humanity was playing with forces beyond their comprehension. The hunt for Nexus had begun, and with it, a race to save the very fabric of existence. The quantum jump deposited Jack and Lyra in the heart of a massive nebula, its swirling gases a kaleidoscope of cosmic colors. But something was off. The nebula's patterns shifted unnaturally, defying the laws of physics. "Another distortion," Jack observed, his senses extending beyond normal space-time. "Nexus has been busy." Lyra's form pulsed with concentration. "I'm detecting a faint quantum trail. It's erratic, but it might lead us to their base of operations." As they prepared to follow the trail, a distant star flared with impossible brightness. The nebula around them warped, reality bending like a funhouse mirror. "Incoming!" Jack shouted, throwing up a quantum shield just as a beam of concentrated energy sliced through space. The attack dissipated against their defenses, but the message was clear: they weren't alone. A voice, distorted and multi-layered, echoed through the quantum foam. "The prodigal children return. Come to scold us for playing with your toys." Jack's form bristled with barely contained power. "Show yourself, Nexus. We know it's you behind these rifts." Laughter rippled through space-time. "Oh, Jack, still thinking in such limited terms. We're not behind the rifts. We are the rifts." Suddenly, the nebula collapsed inward, forming a swirling vortex. At its center, a figure materialized, human in shape, but composed of pure quantum energy, far more refined than Jack or Lyra's forms. "Adrian?" Lyra gasped, recognizing the figure. Jack's mind reeled. Adrian Chen, once Earth's leading quantum physicist, had disappeared months ago. They'd feared Nexus had kidnapped him. The truth, it seemed, was far worse. "Welcome," Adrian's voice resonated with newfound power, "to the next stage of human evolution." With a gesture, he tore open a rift in space, revealing glimpses of other realities, other universes. "We've transcended, Jack. The Concord's rules, the limits of a single universe, they're all obsolete. Join us and experience true freedom." Jack stood firm, his resolve unshaken. "Freedom? You're destabilizing the entire cosmos. Billions could die if these rifts continue to spread." Adrian's form rippled with what might have been pity. "A small price for ascension. But I forgot. You were always too attached to your human roots." Without warning, Adrian launched a barrage of quantum projectiles, each one a condensed packet of multi-dimensional energy. Jack and Lyra split apart, dodging the assault with trans-dimensional reflexes. "We need to contain him," Lyra shouted, weaving a complex quantum field to trap their opponent. But Adrian was always one step ahead. He phased through Lyra's construct, his laughter echoing across realities. "You can't contain what you don't understand, and you've barely scratched the surface of our potential." As the battle raged, tearing holes in the fabric of space-time, Jack felt a growing unease. Adrian's power was beyond anything they'd encountered. How had Nexus achieved this level of quantum mastery in such a short time? The answer came in a flash of cosmic insight. They hadn't. Something else was at play, something ancient and vast. "Adrian, wait," Jack called out, ceasing his attacks. "You're being used. Whatever gave you this power, it has its own agenda." Adrian paused, his form flickering with uncertainty. For a moment, Jack thought he'd gotten through. Then Adrian's eyes blazed with renewed fervor. "Nice try, Jack. But we're done living by your rules." With a final, cataclysmic burst of energy, Adrian tore open a massive rift and vanished, leaving Jack and Lyra floating in the tattered remains of the nebula. As they surveyed the damage, Lyra turned to Jack, her form shimmering with concern. "What now?" Jack's mind raced with the implications of what they'd witnessed. "Now," he said grimly, "we find out who's really pulling the strings, and God help us all if we're too late." The hunt for Nexus had taken an unexpected turn, revealing a cosmic chessboard far larger and more complex than they'd ever imagined. As Jack and Lyra prepared for their next move, the fate of not just their universe, but all of reality, hung in the balance. Jack and Lyra materialized in the quantum core of Earth, a swirling vortex of energy hidden deep beneath the planet's surface. Here, the heart of humanity's cosmic ascension pulsed with raw power, connecting Earth to the vast network of the galactic Concord. Lyra interfaced with the core, her consciousness expanding to encompass the sum of human knowledge. "I'm accessing the quantum archives. If there's any record of a power that could explain Adrian's abilities, we'll find it here." As Lyra sifted through the data, Jack extended his senses outward, monitoring the cosmic disturbances caused by Nexus. The rifts were growing, spreading like cracks in a pane of glass. They were running out of time. Suddenly, Lyra's form pulsed with excitement. "Jack, I've found something. An ancient transmission, buried deep in the quantum noise. It predates human civilization by billions of years." With a thought, She projected the message into the space between them. Incomprehensible symbols swirled in patterns that hurt to look at, defying the limits of three-dimensional space. "Can you decode it?" Jack asked, his mind straining to grasp the alien concepts. Lyra's form shimmered with concentration. "Partially. It's a warning, Jack, about something called the Axiom Collective." As if triggered by the name, the quantum core surged with energy. The symbols rearranged themselves, forming a coherent message. "Beware the Axiom. They seed universes with life, guide evolution, only to harvest the resulting quantum consciousness. Your ascension was by their design. Resist, or be consumed." Jack's mind reeled with the implications. "Are you saying our entire cosmic journey, the void harmony, the transformation of Earth, it was all orchestrated?" Before Lyra could respond, a new presence made itself known. A voice, ancient and vast, resonated through the quantum core. "Clever little sparks," it said, its tone a mixture of amusement and disdain. "You've stumbled upon the truth ahead of schedule. How inconvenient." The quantum core pulsed erratically, and a figure coalesced before them. It was vaguely humanoid, but its form shifted constantly, as if struggling to maintain coherence in their reality. "Who are you?" Jack demanded, readying himself for a confrontation. The being's laughter rippled through space-time. "I am Axiom, young one, the architect of your ascension, the cultivator of countless cosmic gardens. And you, humanity, are my latest crop, ripe for harvesting." Lyra's form flared with defiance. "We won't be your pawns. We'll fight you," warned the Concorde. Axiom's form rippled with what might have been pity. "Fight? Warn? You misunderstand your place in the cosmic order. Your Nexus friends have merely reached the next stage of the process. Soon, all of humanity will join them, your collective consciousness fueling the next cycle of universal rebirth." Jack's mind raced, connecting the dots. The rifts, the quantum disturbances, it's not just Nexus, it's you, preparing our reality for harvest. "Perceptive," Axiom acknowledged. "But knowledge without power is useless. You cannot stop what has been set in motion since the birth of your universe." With a gesture, Axiom sent tendrils of energy snaking towards Jack and Lyra. But instead of attacking, the tendrils connected with their quantum forms, flooding them with cosmic awareness. Jack gasped as the true scale of Axiom's plan unfolded in his mind. Countless universes, countless cycles of creation and harvest, all feeding an endless cosmic engine of rebirth and destruction. As the vision faded, Axiom's form began to dissipate. "The game is set, little sparks. Will you play your part willingly, or must I resort to more direct methods?" With that ominous promise, Axiom vanished, leaving Jack and Lyra alone in the now silent quantum core. Jack turned to Lyra, his form pulsing with a mixture of dread and determination. "We need to warn the Concorde, find a way to stop this." Lyra's response was cut short by a cascade of alarms. The quantum core surged with chaotic energy as rifts began opening throughout the solar system. The endgame had begun, and humanity's true test as cosmic stewards was about to unfold. The Galactic Concorde's emergency chamber crackled with tension as representatives from across the cosmos gathered. Jack stood at the center, his quantum form projecting an air of calm he didn't feel. "Esteemed members of the Concorde," he began, his voice resonating through multiple dimensions, "we face a threat unlike any we've encountered. The being known as Axiom seeks to harvest our universe, and potentially countless others." A cacophony of voices erupted, each species reacting to the news in their own way. The Vextari representative, a crystalline being named Zix, chimed in with a sound like shattering glass. "You expect us to believe this, human? After your kind has caused these rifts?" Jack held up a hand, projecting a holographic representation of Axiom's plan. "Nexus was a symptom, not the cause. We've all been pawns in a game spanning multiple universes." As understanding dawned, the chamber fell silent. The Ziontar emissary, a being of pure energy, pulsed with concern. "If what you say is true, How can we hope to resist a power that has shaped the very fabric of our existence? Before Jack could respond, reality itself seemed to hiccup. The chamber warped, cosmic energies surging through the gathered representatives. When it stabilized, a new figure stood among them. Adrian Chen, leader of Nexus, had arrived. But he was changed, his form a swirling vortex of quantum potential. "Your resistance is futile," Adrian's voice echoed with otherworldly power. "Axiom has shown us the truth. Our ascension is inevitable." Jack stepped forward, his own quantum form flaring in response. "Adrian, can't you see you're being used? Axiom doesn't want to elevate us, it wants to consume us." For a moment, doubt flickered across Adrian's features. Then his eyes hardened. "You're wrong, Jack. This is the next step in cosmic evolution. Join us or be left behind." With a gesture, Adrian tore open a rift in the center of the chamber. Through it, they could see other realities, other versions of themselves making different choices. The Concord representatives recoiled, but Jack stood his ground. "We make our own destiny, Adrian. Humanity has faced extinction before and survived. We'll do it again." Adrian's laughter rippled through space-time. "Brave words, old friend, but can you back them up?" Without warning, Adrian launched a barrage of quantum energy at Jack. The two clashed in a spectacular display of cosmic power, their battle transcending normal space-time. As they fought, Jack felt something stirring within him. The quantum energy that had transformed him years ago was evolving, responding to the threat. He realized, with sudden clarity, that this was the true test Axiom had been preparing them for. "Adrian, stop!" Jack shouted, ceasing his attacks. "This is exactly what Axiom wants. We're playing into its hands." Adrian paused, confusion rippling through his quantum form. "What are you talking about?" Jack projected his realization to everyone in the chamber. "The harvest, the ascension, it's all a test. Axiom isn't just consuming universes, it's searching for something. A species that can transcend its manipulations." Understanding dawned in Adrian's eyes. The rift he had created began to fluctuate wildly, reality itself groaning under the strain of cosmic forces. "What have I done?" Adrian whispered, horror creeping into his voice. As the rift threatened to tear the chamber apart, Jack made a decision that would alter the course of cosmic history. He reached out, not with aggression, but with understanding, offering Adrian a chance at redemption. "Together," Jack said, extending his hand. "We face this as one, or we don't face it at all." The fate of multiple universes hung in the balance as Adrian considered Jack's offer. The true battle against Axiom was about to begin, and humanity's role in the cosmic order would be forever changed by what happened next. Time seemed to stretch as Adrian hovered on the brink of decision. The rift he'd created pulsed ominously, reality fraying at its edges. Then, with a sound like shattering glass, Adrian's form collapsed inward. When it reformed, the manic energy was gone from his eyes, replaced by grim determination. "You're right, Jack," Adrian said, his voice heavy with the weight of realization. "We've been played for fools." As Adrian took Jack's outstretched hand, a surge of energy coursed between them. The rift began to stabilize, the torn edges of reality knitting themselves back together. The galactic Concord chamber erupted in a mixture of relief and suspicion. Zix, the Vextari representative, stepped forward, his crystalline form vibrating with tension. "This changes nothing," Zix chimed. "Humanity has proven itself too dangerous to wield cosmic power." Before Jack could respond, the Zionhar emissary intervened, its energy form pulsing with ancient wisdom. "No, Zix. This is precisely why humanity was chosen. They have the capacity to rebel against their own nature, to choose unity in the face of cosmic manipulation." Suddenly, the air in the chamber grew heavy, reality bending under an immense pressure. A voice, vast and terrible, echoed through every mind present. "So, the pawns think they can rewrite the rules of the game," Axiom's voice reverberated through space-time. "How quaint." The chamber dissolved, replaced by a vast cosmic arena. Stars and galaxies swirled around them. The very fabric of multiple universes laid bare. Axiom manifested before them, its form a writhing mass of quantum potential. You disappoint me, little sparks. I had such hopes for this harvest. Jack stepped forward, his quantum form blazing with newfound power. We're not your crop, Axiom. We're not some cosmic battery for you to drain. We're sentient beings with the right to choose our own destiny. Axiom's laughter shook the foundations of reality. Choice? You are but atoms playing at consciousness. Your entire existence has been shaped by my will. Perhaps, Adrian interjected, moving to stand beside Jack. But it's our choices now that define us, not our origins. As if triggered by their defiance, the cosmic arena began to collapse. Rifts tore open across the multiversal landscape, reality itself groaning under the strain of Axiom's power. Then choose oblivion, Axiom roared, unleashing a wave of entropic energy that threatened to unravel their very existence. Jack turned to the assembled representatives of the Galactic Concord, his eyes blazing with determination. This is our moment. Everything we've learned, everything we've become, it's led to this. Together, we can rewrite the cosmic order. As Axiom's attack bore down on them, something extraordinary happened. The gathered species, from crystalline Vextari to energy-based Xionhar, from newly ascended humans to ancient cosmic entities, joined their consciousness into a single, unified force. Jack felt the combined will of countless beings flow through him. In that moment, he understood the true power of choice, of free will exerted against the tides of cosmic determinism. With a thought that resonated across multiple universes, they pushed back against Axiom's onslaught. Reality itself seemed to hold its breath as the two forces clashed, the fate of existence hanging in the balance. As the battle reached its crescendo, Jack realized that this was more than just a fight for survival. It was a battle for the very nature of consciousness, for the right of all sentient beings to shape their own destiny. With one final, monumental effort, they poured every ounce of their combined will into a single, reality-altering strike. The cosmos trembled, and for a moment, everything went dark. Consciousness returned slowly, reality coalescing around Jack like mist solidifying into matter. He found himself floating in a vast, starlit void, the remnants of the cosmic battle drifting like cosmic dust around him. Did we win? Adrian's voice came from somewhere nearby, weak but alive. Before Jack could respond, a new presence made itself known. It wasn't the overwhelming force of Axiom, but something different. A soft glow suffused the space around them, and a voice, both ancient and newborn, spoke directly into their minds. Victory. Defeat. Such limited concepts for what has transpired here. The glow coalesced into a form that defied description, constantly shifting between states of matter and energy. Jack realized with a start that he was looking at the birth of something entirely new. "What are you?" he asked, his voice resonating across multiple dimensions. The being's response came not in words, but in a flood of understanding that filled Jack's consciousness. In that moment, he saw the truth of what they had accomplished. Their combined will, the unified consciousness of multiple species choosing to defy cosmic determinism, had done more than defeat Axiom. It had transformed it, reshaped its very nature into something new, something that transcended the cycle of creation and harvest. "We are synthesis," the being communicated. "The union of free will and cosmic design. Through your choices, you have rewritten the fundamental laws of existence." As the implications sank in, Jack felt the presence of the other Concord members stirring around him. Each had been changed by the experience, their consciousness expanded beyond previous limitations. Zix, the Vextari representative, chimed in, his crystalline form now pulsing with newfound awareness. "The barriers between species, between dimensions, they're gone. I can feel the thoughts of stars." The Xionhar emissary added, its energy form intertwining with the fabric of space-time itself. "Not gone, young one. Transcended. We have become something greater than the sum of our parts." Adrian floated closer to Jack, his form a swirling nexus of quantum potential. So what happens now? What does this mean for humanity, for all of us? Synthesis rippled with what might have been amusement. That, young ones, is up to you. You have proven yourselves worthy stewards of cosmic power. The multiverse is now your canvas. As synthesis began to fade, spreading its consciousness across the newly reshaped cosmos, Jack turned to the assembled representatives of what was once the Galactic Concord. "We started this journey seeking to save our world," he said, his voice carrying the weight of their shared experience. "Now we find ourselves with the power to shape reality itself. The question is, what will we do with it?" Adrian nodded, a mix of excitement and trepidation in his eyes. "We'll need new laws, new structures to govern our interactions across dimensions. More than that," the Ziontar emissary added, "we need a new purpose. The old cycles are broken. We must forge a new path." As the discussion unfolded, ideas and possibilities flowing freely between minds that now spanned the cosmos, Jack felt a profound sense of both accomplishment and responsibility. Humanity had not only survived its trial by cosmic fire, but had emerged as a catalyst for universal change. They had proven that free will, compassion, and the capacity for growth were not weaknesses to be harvested, but strengths that could reshape the very foundations of existence. The cosmic crucible had forged them anew, and the quantum nexus they now embodied held the promise of infinite potential. As Jack looked out at the transformed multiverse, he knew that their greatest adventure was just beginning. In choosing to unite rather than divide, to create rather than destroy, they had written a new chapter in the cosmic story, and this time they held the pen. The end was just the beginning of something far greater than they could have ever imagined. Jack Harper stood at the edge of reality, his consciousness spanning multiple dimensions as he observed the birth of a new universe. Beside him, Adrian Chen manipulated quantum strings with the casual ease of a maestro conducting a cosmic orchestra. "Beautiful, isn't it?" Adrian mused, his form a swirling nexus of infinite possibility. "Hard to believe it's been a century since we reshaped the multiverse." Jack nodded, his own being pulsing with the raw energy of creation. In the 100 years since their confrontation with Axiom, humanity had embraced its role as cosmic architects, guiding countless species toward ascension and higher states of existence. But something was off. Jack felt it in the quantum vibrations of the newborn universe, a dissonance that shouldn't exist. "Adrian," he said, his voice resonating across dimensional planes, "do you feel that?" Before Adrian could respond, a distress signal pierced their consciousness. It came from the Prismatic Collective, a newly ascended species they had guided just cycles ago. In an instant, Jack and Adrian traversed the multiverse, materializing in the Prismatic's home dimension. What they found chilled them to their quantum core. The Prismatic's reality was empty. Where there should have been a thriving civilization of energy beings, there was nothing but cosmic background radiation. "Impossible," Adrian breathed, his form flickering with agitation. "An entire ascended species doesn't just vanish." Jack extended his senses, probing the quantum fabric of the dimension. No signs of conflict, no temporal anomalies. It's as if they never existed. As they investigated, Jack couldn't shake a growing sense of unease. This wasn't the first time they'd encountered such a phenomenon. In recent cycles, other newly ascended species had gone missing, leaving behind empty dimensions and unanswered questions. "We need to inform the Council," Jack said, already reaching out across the cosmic network that connected the cosmic architects. Adrian's form pulsed with concern. "Jack, wait. If this is happening on the scale we suspect, it could cause panic across the multiverse. We need more information." Jack paused, considering. Adrian was right. As cosmic architects, their actions rippled across realities. They couldn't afford to act rashly. "All right," Jack conceded. "We investigate quietly. But if we find evidence of a larger threat, we bring in the others." "Agreed?" Adrian nodded, his quantum essence aligning with Jack's in silent agreement. As they prepared to delve deeper into the mystery, A faint quantum echo caught Jack's attention. It was barely perceptible, a whisper in the cosmic background, but it was enough. "Adrian, look at this," Jack called, focusing his consciousness on the anomaly. Together, they peered into the quantum fluctuation, their combined power piercing the veil of reality itself. What they saw defied explanation. For a brief moment, they glimpsed another plane of existence, a pocket universe hidden between the folds of known dimensions, and within it, imprisoned in fields of impossible energy, were the missing prismatics. The vision lasted only a nanosecond before the quantum echo faded, but it was enough to send shockwaves through Jack and Adrian's enhanced minds. "My God," Adrian whispered, his voice tinged with disbelief. "Someone's imprisoning ascended species. But who, and why?" Jack's form hardened with resolve. "I don't know, but we're going to find out. Whatever's happening, it's a threat to everything we've worked for, everything we've become." As they set out to unravel this cosmic mystery, neither Jack nor Adrian realized they were about to confront a force that would challenge not just their power, but the very foundations of their beliefs as cosmic architects. The multiverse held its breath, awaiting the outcome of a conflict that would determine the future of cosmic evolution itself. Jack and Adrian traversed the quantum foam between dimensions, their enhanced senses probing for any trace of the mysterious pocket universe. As they searched, Jack couldn't shake a growing sense of familiarity. "Adrian," he called out, his voice echoing across realities, "doesn't this energy signature seem human to you?" Adrian paused, his form rippling with concentration. "Now that you mention it, yes. But that's impossible. All of humanity ascended with us, unless—" Their thoughts aligned in a moment of cosmic synchronicity. "Nexus," they said in unison. The name brought back memories of their conflict a century ago, when a rogue faction of humans had nearly torn reality apart. But Nexus had been disbanded, its members integrated into the new cosmic order, or so they thought. As if triggered by their realization, a quantum tremor shook the fabric of space-time. Reality folded in on itself, and Jack and Adrian found themselves pulled into a hidden dimension. They materialized in a vast chamber that defied conventional physics. Streams of energy crisscrossed the space, each containing countless imprisoned beings, the missing ascended species. "Welcome, architects," a voice boomed, its tone dripping with sarcasm. "Come to admire our handiwork." A figure stepped out of the quantum shadows. Jack recognized him instantly. "Marcus? But how?" Marcus Kane had been one of Earth's leading ethicists before the Ascension. He had argued passionately against tampering with the cosmic order. Now, he stood before them, his form a swirling mass of dark energy. "Did you really think everyone would blindly follow you into godhood?" Marcus sneered. "Some of us remembered what it meant to be human." Adrian's form pulsed with anger. "You're the ones responsible for the disappearances. Why? These species did nothing to you." Marcus gestured grandly at the imprisoned beings. "Nothing? They abandoned their physical forms, their cultures, their very essence of being, all to become what? Cosmic energy with delusions of grandeur." Jack stepped forward, his voice resonating with authority. "We gave them a choice, Marcus, the freedom to evolve." "Freedom?" Marcus laughed, the sound distorting reality around them. "You've become no better than Axiom, reshaping the cosmos to your whims. We are the Null Wardens, guardians of true cosmic balance." As Marcus spoke, more figures emerged from the quantum shadows. Humans who had rejected ascension, who had spent a century honing their powers in secret. Jack and Adrian exchanged glances, a plan forming between them without words. They had the power to overwhelm the Null Wardens, to free the imprisoned species by force. But doing so would only prove Marcus right. "You're wrong, Marcus," Jack said, his form relaxing into a non-threatening stance. "We're not here to fight. We're here to understand." Adrian followed Jack's lead, addressing the other Null Wardens. "If you truly believe we've lost our way, then help us see. Show us where we've gone wrong." Marcus hesitated, clearly thrown by their response. For a moment, the chamber was silent save for the humming of containment fields. Then, with a gesture, Marcus opened a portal. "Very well, architects. You want understanding? Let's take a trip down memory lane. See the consequences of your grand ascension project firsthand." As the portal stabilized, showing a world untouched by cosmic evolution, Jack and Adrian steeled themselves. They were about to confront the legacy of their actions, for better or worse. With a shared nod of determination, they stepped through the portal, ready to face whatever lay on the other side. The fate of cosmic evolution hung in the balance, and the true test of humanity's role as cosmic architects was about to begin. The portal deposited Jack and Adrian on a world that seemed frozen in time. Pristine forests stretched to the horizon, untouched by the quantum manipulation that had reshaped much of the multiverse. In the distance, a primitive city rose, its architecture a stark reminder of pre-ascension civilization. "Welcome to Eden," Marcus said, materializing beside them. "One of the few worlds we managed to shield from your enlightenment." As they walked towards the city, Jack and Adrian extended their senses, marveling at the simplicity and beauty of unaltered life. Quantum potential hummed in every atom, untapped but full of promise. "The inhabitants of this world," Adrian began, his voice tinged with awe. "They're like we once were, aren't they?" Marcus nodded, a hint of pride in his voice. "Mortal, limited, but alive in ways you've forgotten." They reached the outskirts of the city, observing the bustling activity of its inhabitants. Beings that looked remarkably human went about their daily lives, laughing, arguing, living with an intensity that took Jack and Adrian by surprise. "Watch," Marcus instructed, gesturing towards a group of children playing in a park. As they observed, one of the children fell, scraping his knee. The boy's face scrunched up in pain, tears welling in his eyes. But then something remarkable happened. Another child helped him up, offering comfort. The injured boy's pain gave way to a smile of gratitude. "Do you see?" Marcus asked, his voice soft but intense. "Pain, joy, love, loss. These are the experiences that define sentient existence. In your rush to ascend, you've stripped the universe of its most fundamental qualities." Jack felt a pang of something, an emotion he hadn't experienced in decades. "We thought we were freeing them from suffering," he murmured. Adrian's form rippled with unease. "But at what cost? Look at them, Jack. They're not just alive, they're living." As they continued their tour, Marcus showed them more scenes of unaltered life. Artists creating with passionate fervor, scientists making discoveries with childlike wonder, lovers experiencing the highs and lows of mortal relationships. "This is what you're destroying," Marcus said, his tone accusatory. "With every species you ascend, you're erasing unique cultures, endless potential futures. You're homogenizing the cosmos." Jack and Adrian exchanged troubled glances. The weight of their actions over the past century began to press down on them. "But surely ascension has brought benefits," Adrian argued, though his voice lacked conviction. "The knowledge we've gained, the cosmic threats we've neutralized." Marcus led them to a hilltop overlooking the city. The sun was setting, painting the sky in breathtaking hues. "At what price? You've become so fixated on the grand cosmic scale that you've lost sight of the small moments that make existence meaningful." As night fell, the city below came alive with lights and sounds. Music drifted up from the streets, a melody so hauntingly beautiful it made Jack's quantum form resonate in ways he'd long forgotten. We never meant to cause harm," Jack said, his voice heavy with realization. Marcus turned to them, his expression softening slightly. "I know, but good intentions don't justify cosmic meddling. You've upset the natural order, pushed evolution faster than it was meant to go. And now, the multiverse is fracturing under the strain." As if to underscore his point, a quantum tremor shook the world around them. For a brief moment, reality itself seemed to flicker. "What was that?" Adrian asked, alarm evident in his voice. Marcus's expression turned grim. "The beginning of the end, unless we act. Your ascension project has destabilized the cosmic balance. If we don't find a way to restore it, everything, ascended and unascended alike, will be torn apart. Jack and Adrian stood in stunned silence, the magnitude of their mistakes crashing down upon them. They had reshaped the cosmos with the best of intentions, but now faced the possibility that they had doomed it instead. As the tremors subsided, leaving an ominous quiet in their wake, Jack turned to Marcus. "What can we do? How do we fix this?" Marcus's form seemed to grow, encompassing the night sky. "The architects is the question you should have asked a century ago, but perhaps it's not too late to find the answer." With the fate of the multiverse hanging in the balance, Jack and Adrian prepared to confront the consequences of their actions and search for a way to save all of existence, ascended and unascended alike. The quantum tremors grew more frequent as Jack, Adrian, and Marcus traversed the multiverse. They visited world after world, witnessing the spectrum of existence from primitive life forms to civilizations on the brink of natural ascension. "The cosmic fabric is unraveling," Marcus explained as they materialized on a planet of gaseous beings. "Your forced ascensions have created pressure points in reality. Like a balloon stretched too thin, it's only a matter of time before it bursts." Jack watched the gaseous entities swirl in complex patterns, communicating through shifts in color and density. "How much time do we have?" Marcus's form darkened. "Days, perhaps. In cosmic terms, mere moments." Adrian's essence pulsed with determination. "Then we need to act now. We could use the combined power of all cosmic architects to stabilize the quantum field." "And risk further damage?" Marcus scoffed. "No, the solution isn't more power, it's restoration." As they debated, a massive quantum quake shook the planet. The gaseous beings scattered in panic, their harmonious patterns dissolving into chaos. Jack made a decision. "We need to bring everyone together. Cosmic architects, null wardens, representatives from ascended and unascended species alike. This affects all of existence." Marcus hesitated, then nodded. "Agreed? But where? We need neutral ground." Adrian's form brightened with inspiration. "I know just the place." In an instant, they transported themselves to a familiar blue-green planet. Earth, the birthplace of their cosmic journey, remained unchanged in a protected pocket of space-time. "Of course," Jack breathed, memories of their human past flooding back. Where it all began. They materialized in a vast chamber beneath the planet's surface, the former headquarters of the Planetary Defense Initiative. As Marcus sent out the call across dimensions, beings from every corner of the multiverse began to arrive. Cosmic architects, their forms shimmering with barely contained power. Null wardens, dark and resolute in their convictions. Representatives from ascended species, beings of pure energy and thought. And emissaries from unascended worlds, mortal but no less vital to the cosmic tapestry. As the chamber filled, the air crackled with tension and possibility. Jack stepped forward, his voice resonating across multiple planes of existence. "We stand at a crossroads," he began, his words translating instantly across all languages and forms of communication. "Our actions, born of a desire to elevate and protect, have brought us to the brink of cosmic collapse." Murmurs rippled through the assembled beings. Adrian joined Jack, his form a steady presence at his side. "But this is not the end," Adrian continued. "Together, we have the power to reshape reality itself. The question is, how do we wield that power responsibly?" Marcus stepped forward, addressing the crowd. "We propose a return to balance. A cosmic reset that will undo the forced ascensions and allow natural evolution to take its course." The chamber erupted in a cacophony of voices and quantum disturbances. Ascended beings balked at the idea of returning to mortal form. Unascended species feared being left vulnerable to cosmic threats. As the debate raged, Jack felt a familiar presence. A soft glow suffused the chamber, and a voice that was both ancient and newborn spoke directly into every mind present. "Perhaps," Synthesis said, its form shimmering into existence, There is another way. The chamber fell silent, all attention focused on the being born from the union of free will and cosmic design. You have lost your way, Synthesis continued, its voice filled with infinite compassion. But in your struggle, you have proven yourselves worthy of the power you wield. The solution lies not in undoing what has been done, but in teaching all beings to wield cosmic power responsibly. As Synthesis spoke, a vision unfolded before them. A new cosmic order where ascension was not forced but earned, where power came with wisdom, and where the diversity of existence was celebrated rather than homogenized. Jack, Adrian, and Marcus exchanged glances, a glimmer of hope kindling in their quantum cores. The path forward would not be easy, but for the first time since the crisis began, it seemed possible. With renewed purpose, they turned to face the assembled beings, ready to forge a new future for all of existence. The true test of humanity's role as cosmic architects was about to begin, and the fate of the multiverse hung in the balance. The chamber hummed with anticipation as Jack, Adrian, and Marcus absorbed Synthesis's proposal. The assembled beings waited, cosmic energies swirling in barely contained excitement. Jack stepped forward, his form radiating with renewed purpose. Synthesis is right. We've been gatekeepers when we should have been guides. Adrian nodded, his essence pulsing in agreement. It's time we trust in the natural order of cosmic evolution, while providing the wisdom to navigate it safely. Marcus, however, remained skeptical. And how do we ensure this power isn't abused? We've seen the consequences of unchecked ascension. As if in response, another quantum tremor shook the chamber, more violent than before. Reality itself seemed to groan under the strain. Synthesis's form expanded, encompassing them all. The key lies in balance, not just between ascended and unascended, but within each being. Power must be tempered by wisdom, ambition by compassion. With a gesture, Synthesis created a holographic model of the multiverse. At its center pulsed a brilliant core of energy. This, Synthesis explained, is the cosmic nexus, a repository of all knowledge and power in existence. Instead of gifting ascension, we will open pathways for beings to reach the nexus on their own terms, when they are ready. The assembled beings murmured in awe. Jack felt the rightness of this solution in every quantum particle of his being. But we're running out of time, Adrian pointed out, gesturing to the increasingly frequent reality distortions around them. How do we implement this before the multiverse tears itself apart? Synthesis turned to Jack, Adrian, and Marcus. You three represent the spectrum of humanity's cosmic journey. Together, you have the power to reshape reality once more. But this time, not as controllers, but as catalysts. Understanding dawned on Jack. We need to rewrite the cosmic code, create new laws of reality that allow for this balanced evolution. Marcus's form rippled with concern. The power required. It could destroy us. Or transform us, Adrian countered, a hint of his old scientific curiosity shining through. Jack looked out at the assembled beings, representatives of countless species and realities. We'll need all of you. Your energy, your wisdom, your unique perspectives. This has to be a truly universal effort. As if of one mind, the chamber erupted in agreement. Cosmic architects and null wardens set aside their differences. Ascended and unascended beings joined their consciousness in a symphony of unified purpose. Synthesis's form began to fade, its final words echoing through their minds. Remember, the power to shape reality is a gift and a responsibility. Use it wisely. With Synthesis gone, Jack, Adrian, and Marcus took their positions around the holographic cosmic nexus. The assembled beings formed concentric circles around them, channeling their energy and consciousness into the three humans. As they began the cosmic rewrite, reality itself seemed to hold its breath. The quantum tremors ceased, as if the multiverse was waiting to be reborn. Jack felt the combined will of countless beings flow through him. In that moment, he understood the true power of unity, a free will exerted not for personal gain, but for the good of all existence. With a thought that resonated across multiple universes, they began to reshape the very foundations of reality. New laws of cosmic evolution took shape, pathways to ascension that required not just power, but wisdom and compassion. As the transformation reached its peak, Jack, Adrian, and Marcus felt their forms begin to dissolve, their consciousness expanding to encompass the entire multiverse. In that final moment of individuality, Jack realized that this was the true destiny of humanity, not to rule the cosmos, but to serve as its caretakers, its teachers, its guides on the path of cosmic evolution. With one last surge of unified will, they completed the rewrite. A wave of energy exploded outward, washing over every dimension, every reality, every being in existence. The multiverse trembled, and for a moment, everything went silent. Consciousness returned slowly, reality coalescing around Jack like stardust forming new worlds. He found himself floating in a vast, iridescent void, the echoes of cosmic reformation still rippling through existence. Did it work? Adrian's voice came from everywhere and nowhere, his essence intertwined with the fabric of space-time. Before Jack could respond, he felt Marcus's presence, a comforting darkness amidst the cosmic glow. Look around you. Feel it. We've done more than reshape reality. We've become part of it. As Jack extended his awareness, he realized the truth of Marcus's words. They were no longer merely beings in the universe. They had become fundamental forces, woven into the very essence of existence. Slowly, the new cosmic order revealed itself to them. Across countless dimensions, they saw species evolving at their own pace, each on a unique path towards enlightenment. The cosmic nexus pulsed at the heart of the multiverse, a beacon of knowledge and power accessible to all who proved worthy. It's beautiful, Jack marveled, watching a primitive civilization take its first steps towards the stars. Adrian's essence rippled with excitement. And look there! They focused their attention on a familiar blue-green planet. Earth, their origin point, now stood as a cosmic way station. Beings from across the multiverse gathered there, sharing knowledge and culture in a grand exchange of ideas. We've created a true balance, Marcus observed, his former skepticism replaced by cautious optimism. Ascension is no longer a gift to be given or withheld. It's a journey to be undertaken. As they watched, they saw the first test of their new cosmic order. A species on the brink of ascension faced a moral crossroads. Instead of intervening directly, Jack, Adrian, and Marcus found themselves subtly guiding, offering wisdom through quantum whispers and cosmic nudges. We're no longer architects, Jack realized. We're gardeners, nurturing the seeds of cosmic potential. Their conversation was interrupted by a familiar presence. Synthesis, now a part of them yet distinct, spoke directly into their cosmic consciousness. You have done well, it said, its voice resonating through the quantum foam. But your greatest challenge lies ahead. As guardians of cosmic evolution, you must remain vigilant, ensuring that the balance is maintained. Adrian's essence pulsed with determination. We understand. This isn't an end, but a new beginning. Marcus added, a responsibility we'll bear for eternity. As synthesis faded, becoming one with a new cosmic order, Jack felt a profound sense of purpose wash over him. They had reshaped reality, yes, but more importantly, they had reshaped themselves. Humanity, in its ultimate form, had become the caretakers of existence itself. Not through dominance or control, but through guidance, wisdom, and a deep respect for the infinite potential of life in all its forms. Jack turned his cosmic awareness to the vast expanse of the multiverse, teeming with life and possibility. Well, my friends, he said, his voice carrying the weight of their shared destiny, shall we begin our first day as cosmic gardeners? Adrian and Marcus's essences aligned with his and their combined will resonating across dimensions. Together, they set out to nurture the seeds of cosmic evolution, guiding countless species towards their own unique forms of ascension. As they embraced their new role, Jack realized that this was the true meaning of humanity. Fuck yeah! Not conquest or superiority, but the ability to grow, to learn, to transform themselves and the cosmos into something greater than the sum of its parts. The multiverse pulsed with new life and potential, a testament to the power of choice, the importance of balance, and the enduring spirit of a species that had come to embody the very best of cosmic evolution. And so, the true cosmic journey began, with humanity at its heart, forever changed, yet eternally true to the spark of curiosity and compassion that had first propelled them to the stars. The end was just the beginning of an infinite adventure, stretching across realities and beyond the limits of imagination. In the grand cosmic story, humanity had found its true calling, not as conquerors, but as nurturers of the greatest tale ever told,